I think you might have some insight into why the Hasan Pikers of the world feel appealing to, or Zohran Mamdanis, to people right now living in 2025, especially younger people.
If I'm young and even remotely center left, right, how am I going to look at Joe Biden and Kamala Harris as people who care about me and are fighting for me? They're both, Biden especially. I mean, talk about a total corporate party hack. He's been around since the 70s. He's a puppet of, the Democratic Party. I'm not going to be inspired by this guy. I am going to be inspired by Bernie. I am going to be inspired by people who see me, who speak to me, who make me feel seen and respected and recognized. The other thing is, if the establishment of the Democratic Party hasn't served me as a young person, I'm going to go with the guy who's on the left who upsets them. Because like he's making them angry. That means he's putting forth uncomfortable truths. He's going to actually go there and make a big difference. I am not too concerned at all about Zohran Mamdani. I don't think he'll be very different from de Blasio, who was also like a commie. And I'm very, very glad that the New Jersey and Virginia elections went so heavily for the Democrats, because if those were close and he won in New York, the Democratic Party in the midterms would tilt very heavily left. Because when your house has been destroyed, right, how am I going to rebuild? Emily's going to say, let's rebuild in the middle. I'll say, let's rebuild in the left. All right, let's look at the tea leaves. And if the left had been the victor, all right, we got to go the left. But the fact that you had these presented as moderates in New Jersey and Virginia who had huge blowouts against perfectly fine candidates, that is telling me and the Democratic Party leaders which direction to go.
Okay, so if you're talking to maybe a Piker viewer and explaining to them why the idea of a Gucci store next to the Soviet building blocks that Hasan just referenced, having seen in China, which I'm assuming he's referencing like industrial capacity, big buildings, new buildings, that type
I've
of
seen
thing.
that Gucci store. I was in that there on my way to Pyongyang, North Korea. So he's not wrong. There's I was there. There's an Apple store. And when I was at the Apple store in Beijing, I tried to look up Tiananmen Square and it's just it doesn't come up on Google.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, so what's your response then to somebody who says the idea of Gucci next to, this marvelous industrial capacity, it can be done. We can have Stalin and Gucci. We can have Stalin in Gucci. Is that ever possible?
My response would be, how did you get my contact info?